guys, it's Sam, and this is my fall most anticipated releases video. Now, when I was prepping for this video, I was like, oh my god, there are so many books that are coming out in fall, which I always kind of know because spring and fall are the peak book release season, but from going from summer, where I didn't even make a releases video because there weren't really a lot of things that I was that excited about. I think I maybe had like 3 books and I was like, that's not worth it. To going to this season where I think I have 11 on here, like multiple each month, not even just clustered in one month. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting fall. I think also because the books that come out in fall tend to appeal to me more. Like summer tends to come out with a lot of like beach reads and stuff like that that is not my type of thing. So like the fantasy and some of the like spookier atmospheric things tend to come out in fall, therefore I'm more likely to pick things up. Let's get into it. Might be a long video. Also, I say this in every video when I do a release video, but for me, fall is September, October, November. I know that the first day of fall doesn't happen until later, but for me, the month of September is a fall month, okay? So the first book comes out on the 3rd, and that is There Will Come a Darkness by Katie Rose Poole. This is being described as Six of Crows meets Graceling. When you read the synopsis, it's kind of like 5 individuals up against like world-ending magic and stuff, and it's definitely like an unlikely band of characters, all with, it seems like they might have different kinds of powers and abilities, so that's kind of where the Graceling comparison comes in. So they probably each have a certain set of skills and contribute. You guys know how I feel about like bands of characters, like larger casts of characters like Gilded Wolves and Six of Crows and things like that, Mistborn. So this is going to appeal to me in that way. Also, this cover is just really pretty, so that's what originally drew me in, and then I read the synopsis and saw like basically nerds trying their best, and I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Then on September 10th, we have Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. This is the tagline that people have been talking about this as, is lesbian necromancers in space. And that's really all I've ever needed to know since people were first talking about this. I have heard mixed things about this. People have either loved it or hated it. So I am excited because polarizing books and me tend to like weirdly get along. So I'm interested, even if I do hate it, you know, that'll kind of be like an enjoyable hate. I don't know. So I'm excited for this. This is also my Patreon book pick for this month. So I'm going to be reading this month, and I'm doing a buddy read along. So I will link everything for that down below and my Patreon on the screen if you're interested in participating in Patreon polls and such. But this one coming out just in time for spoop season. Exciting. Speaking of spoop season, October has so many books coming out, and I am just so excited. The first book is Angel Mage by Garth Nix. Garth Nix is the writer of the Abhorsen series, which is one of my favorite series of all time. It has to do with some necromancy and some death magic and wonderfulness, and so atmospheric and just beautiful. So I'm very excited for this just on the basis that he has written it. It also seems a little more higher YA level YA, because for a while he was sort of writing things that appealed more to like the middle grade YA bridge, and now he's writing again back in the more like upper level YA, so I'm very excited about that. And this has to do with angel magic, and also the main character I believe is in love with an angel, like an archangel or something, but there's angelic magic. Angel Mage. So although angels, I'm always like, I don't know. Lately I've been giving angels like a fair shot. There's angels in Daughter Smoke and Bone and things like that. So angels I can sometimes be okay with, and I think this is going to be an interesting take on angels as well. So I'm excited for this one. Speaking of things getting a resurgence, we have The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. This is New Orleans, I believe 1800 sometimes, and vampires. That's all I need to know. I'm always okay with vampires coming back. I know that people were like, oh, I'm so sick of vampires. And I'm like, I'm never sick of vampires, okay? Especially like dark vampires that are like bad. But like, honestly, just vampires I find very intriguing, and I always have, and I just think they're a lot of fun. You can do a lot of fun with them, and there's so many different ways you can take vampires. Some of my favorite TV shows are vampire TV shows. I just love vampires. So I'm very excited that not only do we have vampires that are like creepy bad vampires, but we also have New Orleans in a historical setting. I couldn't ask for anything else. Also on October 8th, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, which I am planning to read. Actually, The Beautiful and Ninth House I'm planning to read this month sometime if I can squeeze them in. I've been so excited for this since this was announced like years ago. I did an interview with Leigh Bardugo and we talked about this book had like just been announced. So this is adult, very dark, and it has to do with like cults and Yale and like dark underbelly, dark magic stuff. It's going to be so atmospheric and wonderful, I'm sure, and I can't wait, but I've heard that there's a lot of really dark things. So if you're going into this, definitely check out the trigger warnings that people have talked about so that you don't go into something that is going to be triggering for you, because this definitely has some dark material in it, but I am ready for it. Then on October 15th, we have The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. Now, Rin Chupeco wrote the Bone Witch trilogy, which I still have yet to read, but I deeply want to, and I've wanted to read it since like the first book came out, and a lot of people have been telling me lately to read it. I just don't own it. Story of my life. So this is her newest series coming out. I'm definitely also intrigued about this one. This is being described as Frozen meets Mad Max, which I think is kind of hysterical because I'm not a Frozen fan, but this has to do with a sister dynamic. So years ago in this world, two sisters kind of split the world apart, and so now there's one part of the world that is all snow and ice and horrible, and the other part is just very like sunny and desert and whatever. And they were two, I believe, like sister goddesses, and then they have raised their daughters separate, but now the daughters are being called back to the site of the breaking and all of this stuff. So I'm very intrigued about this. It has elemental magic, which is one of the things that I just love and adore so much when it comes to magic systems. It has like family dynamics, which I think are really fun, and it just seems like Rin Chupeco does this like dark atmospheric world thing really well, so I'm excited to see what this is all about. Then on the 29th, we have A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy. This is a North African inspired fantasy, the first in a series. I am very excited about this because this also has a couple of my like buzzword type things. This has magic of marrow and bone, which to me is either like blood magic or like death magic, which I'm always on board for. And this has to also do with two sisters having to fight to the death for the throne. Again, these like sister family dynamic type things. So I think this is going to be really interesting. Again, you kind of had me hooked with like blood magic, death magic. Like I'm already just kind of on board. You put it in a different setting as far as like a North African inspired fantasy. Really excited about that. So I'm definitely intrigued about this one. I've been hearing also a lot of buzz about this one for months. Then also on the 29th, we have Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. This has been what I've been seeing a lot on Twitter and such, and also this cover. Covers just pull me in, don't they, for everybody? It's kind of the whole point. And this follows a main character who can travel into people's souls through dreams, and in these dreams, everyone's dreams, she's seeing this black door. And of course, she keeps getting pulled to this door, and she obviously opens the black door and everything kind of goes from there. But beyond just there being sort of like a portal fantasy feel to this, dream magic, going into people's souls, things like that, which is kind of that between life and death type situation that I just tend to love. It also says in the synopsis that the main character is asexual and she's coming to terms with her asexuality. So that's something that I'm very intrigued about, since I don't tend to see a lot of ace characters in fantasy, so I want to see if that's done well. So that's it for October. Very, very busy October. Then for November, a lot of books are coming out on November 5th. The first one I've already read, but I definitely still have to talk about because it is one of my most anticipated releases for the whole year, and that is The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is an adult standalone and is following a young man who as a child saw a magical door, and he also finds a book where he sees himself and him finding this door in the book. And it's this whole adventure that unravels and everything kind of goes from there. I've done a full review for this, which will be up closer to release date for this. I also might reread it closer to release date, but this has been my most anticipated read of the whole year because Erin Morgenstern is my favorite author of all time. So excited for this. Then also on the 5th, we have The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. This one I'm unsure about because I haven't had a lot of success with Kiersten White. I've tried a couple of series by her, one that I actually started the book and finished the book and didn't end up liking it, another series I ended up DNFing. So I just haven't had a great time with her writing. It seems to be writing that some people either love or hate, and I just have fallen on the not liking side. But I'm intrigued enough about this to try it. It's a obviously Camelot, Arthur's Camelot retelling, and Guinevere in here is a changeling, and I think she is being placed in the Arthurian court in order to protect the court and the king and things like that. So she has different magical abilities and things like that. So I'm excited about this premise, but I'm frequently excited about Kiersten White's premises and I don't end up liking them a lot. So this is one that I'm excited for and I want to try, but I'm also a little nervous because I'm like, I might not like this one. And lastly, also on the 5th, we have Unnatural Magic by C.M. Wagner. And this looks to be an adult standalone. This follows a girl who's good at spell weaving and spell making, but she is really not appreciated because she is a woman and she, you know, she's looked down upon and whatever, so she ends up traveling to another city to kind of explore more magics and things like that. But this is a troll inhabited area, so trolls are actually the main race here, and there's some chaos happening with the trolls because they're being targeted, so she kind of teams up with some trolls to figure everything out. I have not read any books I think about like actual trolls. So having trolls as like the main race I think is going to be really cool, and I'm interested to see how like the troll magic and stuff like that works. So this sounds like it could be really cool. So that is it for all of my most anticipated fall releases. There are a lot of them, and I definitely won't get to all of them, but I'm excited about a lot of them, and definitely to watch reviews and see which ones are worth it and things like that. So comment below, let me know some of your most anticipated fall releases. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.